Well, welcome back. What a great first feature where Bill and Pete Tinsman were talking about some of the legal background and some of the medical background and some of the economic background of the whole glyphosate and Roundup issue. Always pertinent to the goings on in our industry. As I tell my kids in their finance classes, we have to do these cost-benefit analyses all the times, and sometimes a compromise is mandated in order to hold up the great middle there. And our next segment, some current events. Bill, this is fascinating. The state visit by King Charles and Queen Camilla was such a Bafo home run performance. Both the president and the king were eloquent and witty in their remarks at the state dinner. And of course, Charles extended that with his witticisms in front of the joint session of Congress. And President Trump announced the removal of tariffs and restrictions on Scottish whiskey. This decision, framed as a boost to trade between Scotland and Kentucky, was made in honor of King Charles III's and Queen Camilla's visit to the White House. The move aims to aid the whiskey industry and strengthen diplomatic ties. Well, you're our ag expert, Bill Pracht, and you know that ethanol is involved with alcohol. Talk to me. Is this good? Is détente breaking out all over again between Britain and the U.S. despite Keir Starmer's leftist wobbling on maybe the global defense front?
You know, anything that's positive is positive at this point. And so we just have to take a small victory here. And Scottish whiskey is, it's not my cup of tea, but that gets the ice broken, no pun intended, on procedure here, then let's take a little victory lap and move on.
No pun intended. You had me at not my cup of tea.
That's right.
Hey, Bill, it's been another interesting week, and obviously the blockade still remains with respect to the situation over in Iran. Anything this week since we last talked that has percolated up on your visor that might be of interest to any of our listeners in the whole ag sector?
Well, one, I've been at the RFA, Renewable Fuels Association board meeting the last 2 days, and something I didn't know, and I think we said last week, that the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz really didn't affect our energy independence or, had too great of effect on fertilizer pricing in the U.S., but they told us at our meeting today that 20% of California's oil that's refined at refineries on the West Coast does travel through the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh.
And that was news to me. And so that's adding a little bit to the high price of California fuel out there.
That makes great sense because I've heard the California prices are really outliers and have really skewed. I had attributed a lot of that to the confiscatory gasoline tax over there. Well, that's great information, Bill. And Bill, since we last talked, I believe you had a United States Senator stop by the plant. Can you give us a little bit of an update on that?
We did. Senator Roger Marshall stopped by, gave us about 30 minutes of his time, which we were very appreciative of.
Indeed.
And so we talked about issues that affect us and renewable fuels volumes that increased a lot for renewable diesel and biodiesel, and all that's good for agriculture. And he really didn't want to talk too much about E15 because, the Congress people and senators have just, the commodity groups have just been, especially our Midwest champions for E15, is to try to get this thing over the line once. And
right.
We're kind of getting sick of asking about it all the time, and they're probably kind of getting sick a little bit hearing about it all the time. But again, at our meeting that we had, looks like they're going to decouple the vote on E15 from the Farm Bill. So sometime mid-May, we should have a vote in the House of Representatives on a standalone E15 proposal.
And that's good news from your vantage point, Bill. Is that correct?
It is. Everybody believes that it will, and Senator Marshall said that a standalone bill would pass in the Senate.
Wow.
But first we got to get it through the House.
Gotcha.
And so we'll get it through the House. But he said once it gets to the Senate, and as you know, John, one senator can weigh the procedural rules of the Senate. One senator can keep a bill from coming to the floor.
Absolutely.
And he believes that there's probably 4 to 6 senators, oil state senators, that will not allow E15 to ever get to the floor.
Fascinating. But it does sound like you got to get this done first in the House for it to have its shot at the Senate, that it would ultimately pass the Senate. So maybe it's a waiting out, a timing issue. Are you still somewhat optimistic that this could get to the president's desk ultimately?
I'm not, because of the Senate rules. The House side of it, I do, where it's decoupled from the Farm Bill, there's a good number of Democrat House members that are going to vote in favor of this thing, that if it was attached to the Farm Bill, they would possibly be in favor of it as an amendment to the Farm Bill, but not vote for the Farm Bill.
Gotcha.
And so, as far as the House goes, this is probably the best way to play it.
Okay, now, John Thune, he's a South Dakotan. He is the Senate Majority Leader. Is he sympathetic? Could he dislodge some of those oil state senators if he really wanted to, Bill?
I don't know. Some of those guys have been there as long as he has. And I think, Senator Barrasso of Wyoming is probably the biggest opponent of ethanol in the Senate. And, what's he, number 3 in the hierarchy of the Senate? So, those guys that are in those spots up there, it's pretty hard to get, get the whip out and make them do something different.
Here with the great Bill Pracht, you heard him at the front end with his expertise on laying the groundwork with glyphosate and Roundup situation. The reason that's coming back more than ever is the Supreme Court just heard oral arguments on the Roundup-related case. So ever in front, we are fresh with breaking news and bottom lines. And Bill, of course, is the head of that great agribusiness giant, East Kansas Agri-Energy, and Bill is so prescient in his predictions as well as his commentary. Bill, we talked about the federal angle. What about in Topeka? They're winding down. Is there anything left done or undone for the ag sector with the Kansas legislature session in its wind down right now?
I think, kind of what everything kind of got set out to do. The governor did sign a bill for to help on a small tax credit for E15 infrastructure. Kind of ironic, she signed that bill for E15 infrastructure, but yet wouldn't sign a letter to guarantee that Kansas could sell E15 year round.
That is kind of a dichotomy. Yeah.
It is just a little bit. And but again, it's kind of like the Scottish whiskey. You take your little victories and you go on.
Bill's been involved with politics for a long time as an advocate for the industry. And progress often is very incremental, isn't it, Bill?
Yes, and and I think you just don't realize when you're an outsider looking in, we always wonder, well, why can't they get anything done? But, man, it's just a slog. And when you go to your trade group meetings and they fill you in on what's kind of going on and all the intricate work they have to do, to lay the groundwork to make any progress, and it takes way too long to get something done these days. And that's frustrating to the average American.
Bill, I couldn't agree with you more because I was in the Iowa legislature for 7 years, and it is a slog. And the Serbonian bogs, the pits that legislation can fall into, sometimes a good bill will never leave the locked drawer of the committee chair, not even get a subcommittee hearing. So, it's...
Well, and that's kind of what they're talking about in Iowa now. The Congressman Randy Feenstra is running for governor, and if this E15 bill doesn't get a vote in the House or pass in the House, that just might sink his shot at being the governor. And he did call into our meeting and was on Zoom yesterday for us.
Interesting.
And
I served with him when I was in the legislature. Yeah.
And he was certainly frustrated. And so probably what they done to get Mike Johnson to give him a date for a vote, they should have done that. They should have stuck to their guns in January and done that a couple months quicker. But again, finally get there.
You know, I like to incorporate technology in occasionally in these shows, Bill, and there's been so much talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and we've had university lectures that incorporate that into it, obviously. We've had just been some great stuff going on at the university of late, even some panel presentations and community town halls involving other renewable fuels other than ethanol. I want to just dip in here. Investigate Midwest magazine. If you ask AI or Siri, what are the big issues out there? This matriculated to my query here. Midwest agribusinesses are primarily grappling with financial pressures from falling crop prices and high operating costs, extreme weather volatility, farm consolidation, and infrastructure bottlenecks. These challenges, including high input costs, are squeezing profit margins, exacerbated by shifting trade policies and labor shortages, according to insights from Investigate Midwest. There's a lot of spinning plates there, Bill. Which ones have you most concerned as we wind down here in our last 5 minutes? I'll give you the final word here today.
The input costs certainly are on top of everybody's list, and along with low commodity prices. And, those of us that are farmers, we're used to that. I mean, we operate on pretty small margins, and then you have to leave it to Mother Nature to maybe make or break your season. And so those are probably at the top of the list. I think labor on farm labor or labor in agricultural, some ag sectors is tight, and that can be said for a lot of sectors. I do think some of that's easing up a little bit, but that's something that certainly is an issue. But the number one issue is always economics. I mean, you've got to have positive economics to make your farm or your business survive and grow, and so those things are always at the top of everybody's list.
Here with the great Bill Pracht. He is the King Maestro Conductor Extraordinaire at East Kansas Agri-Energy. And Bill, you guys have done some tremendous work from the marketing auspices of your entity there, including we're going to take a break here and listen to a debut within this program of a spot, an ad, a commercial that they use to talk about their great venture at East Kansas Agri-Energy. Take a listen in here, guys. I think you'll really enjoy this.
Ethanol, clean, renewable energy straight from America's cornfields and refined right here at East Kansas Agri-Energy. Every kernel is transformed into powerful fuel that cuts emissions and boosts performance. With innovation leading the way, ethanol's future is bright, driving cleaner air, stronger communities, and a new era of energy independence. East Kansas Agri-Energy is powering America. To learn more, visit us online.
Well, John Jacobsen back with you. Boy, Bill, that sounds great. You got some really good messaging going on. That's a tribute to you and your great people there at East Kansas Agri-Energy down there in Garnett.
Yep, John, that commercial spot was just part of a package that we did with PBS TV, and so we did a segment with All Access with Andy Garcia at Ethanol, and they could go to our website, ekaellc.com, and click on the link and watch that, and it should be out for public television stations to be picking up, and that's what they use that for, and for not only East Kansas, but for the ethanol industry and the Kansas corn growers, Renewable Fuels.
It really is, guys. That's Bill Pracht. He's your president CEO of East Kansas Agri-Energy. Go to their website, eastkansasagri-energy.com. And folks, Bill is going to be joining me on some of the great county fairs and state fair broadcasts this year. Bill, I know you love those county fairs. You're a FFA 4-H supporter. It's going to be fun for us to do some reporting for those upcoming now that summer is almost here, Bill.
It's right around the corner, and kids getting out of school, and before we know it, it'll be the fair season. That's right.
Bill Pracht, guys, what a great show. We're already getting some tremendous listenership feedback. Bill, it's always a joy to be with you. Our second voyage, we're starting to click into some rhythm here, Bill.
Yep. It was, we might actually have something one of these days.
I think we're going to have this nominated pretty quickly, maybe in a couple different states for the ag reporting vector of this. Guys, for Sean Torres, our great radio engineer, for Bill Pracht, the president CEO of East Kansas Agri-Energy, yours truly, John Jacobsen here. Glad that you joined us, and catch this show on our podcast vehicle on KOFO.com. Click the tab for podcasts and go to the East Kansas Agri-Energy show starring Bill Pracht. Bill, great to be with you.
Same here, John. Enjoyed it a lot.
And we'll be back in just a moment.